O lo pones acá. Sí, voy. Angie.
Look, get something more fancy. I was already messing it up. Can you hear me? Perfect.
No.
Hmm?
No, I'm talking to myself.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
okay, okay.
Okay. I'm not going to introduce you. You just go ahead and introduce yourself.
Introduce myself. I'm Nancy. Let me just put my phone on silent.
Estamos en directo.
Well, thank you. Can you see me? Everybody? Yeah, I know you guys can see me. I just don't know. Hi, you guys. My name is Nancy Reeves. I am one of the academic consultants for Pearson. I've met some of you already. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about something called active learning and active engagement within the classroom. But what we're going to do is, remember last year that we did the PBL, some of you were there maybe. We're going to do the same, but with active learning. And we're going to use something that everybody's super concerned about how to use in the classroom or how our students are using in the classroom. But I'm going to walk you through the process about how to do it effectively. So I might come into the screen a little bit to use a computer just in case. I don't want to change anything. I have the tech guy here, so he's going to be my best friend. What to know about me? I've been in education since, 1995. I've studied a lot and moved a lot, and I guess now I'm going. Actually, I've have the opportunity to go back into the university classroom setting in Panama. I'm teaching a classroom about how to implement technology within the English classroom for teachers. So it's really interesting how we're changing our mentality in the incorporation of technology in the classroom to make it more engaging for our students, but not only for them, but also for us. So are you ready to start? If you have any questions, let me know. We are going to be standing a little bit. I don't know about the ones on the screen, but what we can do is you can write down the questions that I asked you guys, and then we can have a conversation, okay? Now, we're going to talk about what is active learning. We are also going to talk about, I think we need to duplicate the screen because it looks just like, here you can see it, but here's like you'll see it in the computer. There you go. There you go. Okay, so we're going to talk about what is active learning, why is active learning so important, and then we're going to talk about some activities that we're going to do. But we're going to work with it a little bit different. We're going to have a class. I am going to teach you different dynamics. I'm going to go from really easy tasks all the way to a little bit more challenging of a task for you to see what you can do with your students and how you can walk with your students. And I'm going to leave you a couple of strategies or apps actually to implement in the classroom to work with speaking, which is a big thing. I'm sorry for the And then we're going to talk about some things about creating podcasts for your classes with academic material. We're also going to see how we can do an AI tutor for your students. So I'm going to try to combine a little bit of AI information that can help you guys to facilitate and to have more alternatives to create a more engaging classroom. Okay, so to be or not to be, that is a question. Shakespeare, love him. We're going to talk about the benefits and the disadvantages of my frenemy. I have learned to appreciate the value of artificial intelligence since it started because I have a kid who has a diagnosis, it's autism. So with students who have learning disabilities, artificial intelligence has become a very resourceful tool for teachers to create IEPs, to do a lot of inclusion, and we need to consider that Colombia is really working hard towards an inclusive agenda. So, to ChatGPT or to not ChatGPT. Right now, what I want you to do is I want you to talk, and you're going to write down in the little post-its that I'm going to share to you guys some of the 3 disadvantages and 3 advantages of using ChatGPT in the classroom. I want you to make groups of 4. 4 will be a good number, or 3, groups of 3. And I want you to talk about the disadvantages. You're going to write 1 in here, 1 per post-it, 3 disadvantages and 3 advantages. So are you ready? The ones on the screen, you can do it in a notebook, groups of 3, please. And we're going to start working that way. So I'm going to give you post-its for you to work. Groups of 3. Let's see, we have partners in here.
Something here.
Santi, you can work here. Over there? Yeah. Let me see if I gave you enough post-its, so I didn't really count them. So in 3 post-its, we're going to talk about advantages, and 3 post-its, we're going to talk about disadvantages of using AI in the classroom. It doesn't only have to be ChatGPT. It could be Gemini, it could be Cider, it could be Copilot, whichever you want to use, whichever you feel more comfortable with. But I want you to consider what are the benefits and the disadvantages. Are you ready?
How many did you say? 1?
3?
3?
1 in each post-it, okay? I don't know if I gave you enough post-its. So are you ready? Set, go.
Sometimes, for example, when how would I Disadvantages.
The other one is that.
You can do as many as you want. How are you guys doing? Are you guys done? Are we done? No, someone's getting a chat AI to do the work for them. Okay. You're done? Okay, so the groups that have finished, please on the wall or board that says downfalls or disadvantages, go ahead and put them there, and the benefits, put them here. What in the world? Scissors. Okay, you guys. So now what we're going to do is I want you to walk around and I want you to look about write all the benefits that your other classmates wrote. And I want you to look into the disadvantages that they wrote as well. to see which ones didn't cross your mind, to reflect upon them, and then we're going to have a discussion. So I want you to walk around, to look into, try to be organized. We're a small group, so we can do it. I want you to look into the ones on the other side. You can share the papers, you can have a conversation, and you can be open to everybody. So you can walk around, everybody. You ready? You're going to have 2 minutes to do this. Walk and read. Whenever you finish reading, go back to your seats. Got it? Okay, perfect. For the ones that are on the screen, you guys can write your comments based on the questions, okay? And then we can read them. Yeah, good. Okay, you guys. So can someone tell me what were some of the benefits or one of the benefits that you mostly consider about the use or the implementation of AI in the classroom? Yes.
So it saves time.
Saves time?
And also provides new ideas.
Okay, very good. What else? Very good.
Our coworkers on this, so something really nice, and it's like a peer review.
Mhm.
Sometimes you have ideas and you don't know how to check them out. So ChatGPT helps you with that.
Okay, good. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be ChatGPT. It could be Gemini. I'm going to show you some crazy things that I can do online. What else? Another benefit. Okay, now this one is the one that I get the most amount of answers. Disadvantages.
It's killing the world.
Killing the world. Very, very, very. Okay, I'm gonna get that.
Beyond that, is there any discussion?
We'll see. We'll talk about it. How? Okay, so how is it killing the world?
The very heavy use of resources,
Mhm.
water and power. Also, those are now being located in poor districts. And so the people who are living around there are losing out on the benefits of anything that comes with AI because they don't have enough money for all the gadgets and things they need, or the time, because they may be working 2 to 3 jobs. But these are placed in their neighborhoods and just sucking out their natural resources.
Okay.
And it's
Now let's filter that into education. What are the disadvantages within education? There are a lot of studies, and I agree with you, a lot of studies have come out about the impact of AI and technology with, and this is something that has happened since the beginning of time, but what would be the impact within education?
Here at the Colombo, there are some communities of population that doesn't have access to electricity here, and
Mhm.
so it may be difficult for them to use, or for us teachers to take this technology to this.
Okay, we're thinking as teachers. Now, do you think that your students, all of them, do not have a cell phone? Do you think that they have no social media?
I have students in rural, around
Yeah.
Boca who don't have those things, yes.
Okay, perfect.
And whose parents do.
Now, what else? Now, thinking about inside classroom, teaching them English, what are the disadvantages? No, go ahead, go ahead.
I think, especially in the writing task, in the
Mhm.
writing process, I think students rely a lot on ChatGPT, so it's more difficult to find that they actually didn't write anything, like all their
That is-
paragraphs are made out of ChatGPT.
Okay,
For example, with advanced courses, when you take the writing part, that you know that, okay, this ChatGPT results, okay, they're on, like, their own job. So you need to start asking ChatGPT, is this yours? Yes, 100%, or maybe yes.
ooh, I'm gonna give you a tool today that if you don't like me after I give you that tool, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, it's like, it's like because, for example, in the sport, in the lower sports, you can see like, okay, this is our result ChatGPT. I don't have like to look for that. Like, for example, we reading and writing advanced courses, I feel like this is perfect. But he has an excellent it. So I have to go and ask, and that is most.
It might not necessarily be the level, it might be something else that they're doing. Okay, what else? Anybody else who wants to tell me something that they consider as a disadvantage? What about creativity? Yes, go ahead.
I think it fosters it.
It fosters creativity. I agree with you. Okay, what else? Oh, you had an opinion about it? Do you think it's affecting creativity?
Because I read like some of the people and they are good to think so. Like, it kills creativity, but I may say that it depends on how you use it or approach it.
Mm-hmm.
So is that like if you
It could be it has to be Sweden. Uh-huh.
It's a problem because then we start to kind of get it has to be ChatGPT 24/7. So
Okay. What about critical thinking? Do you think it affects critical thinking? What is it that we understand as critical thinking, and do you think that it is affecting critical thinking? There's two questions there. Yes or no? There's no wrong answers in here. A lot of discussion though.
There has been some research into critical thinking and the effect it has on college students. Students who used it they found that their result product was much less sort of varied and interesting and used lower level vocabulary. And the people who didn't use it had a wide range of better writing.
Okay, very good. Thank you. No, that's good. It's good. There's a lot of information out there from artificial intelligence. Actually, in England, there's a lot of work done by Dan Fitzpatrick, who's an educator and has been promoting the different usage. You have the AI framework, you have the use words, you have how to build human skills, how to work with soft skills, how to work with power skills throughout the entire process, which I recommend that you read him. He's a fan. I love him too. And there's actually one thing that we don't consider as teachers, and this is another question. And don't get me wrong, we're getting into the active learning. I'm going to show you what and how. How do you ask something to, like, whenever you talk to ChatGPT or Gemini or Copilot, how do you format your question? Right, okay, very good. Okay, so now, do you know there's actually 8 steps to use ChatGPT or AI?
You use prompts.
Why do you write a prompt? You have to write a prompt. How do you write a prompt?
I have to check how to write a prompt or to ask them.
I love it. Okay, so I am going to be a good speaker and I'm going to give you some cheat sheets about it. So What is it that I'm doing right now? What is active learning? Active learning, and I'm going to move this forward because we already done this. Active learning is going to be that approach with an instruction, and it says it in here, that we actively engage our students. Notice that at the beginning, you had a topic, the benefits of using AI. We focus ChatGPT, and I always talk about ChatGPT because it is wide, like people know about it a little bit more than any of the other resources. For instance, I don't use ChatGPT, I use Cider because it provides me with research. It has the same functions because it does include ChatGPT, includes Gemini, includes Copilot, but for me, Cider is more of a research because it gives me all the articles for my research, right? So everybody has to have a particular use. Now, whenever we work with active learning, we have to create a moment of discussion. Notice that I am not teaching you yet something concrete. I am just opening the space for discussion. Are you guys participating? Are you engaged with the topic? Are you saying, yeah, I like ChatGPT, no, I don't use it, I need to do this, I need to do that? So the idea, whenever you start working with active learning, is that you really get and you like tackle your students' minds and put them in place of the situation. These are your icebreakers. These are your moments of discussion. This is me. I could have put a case study about the use of AI successfully in Spain or in Colombia, the misuse of AI in other countries. I could have just established that, and what happens? The students are going to be developing critical thinking skills. They're actively engaged. They're going to use their creativity to answer, or you give them keywords for them to reflect upon the topic. Active learning, and aside, what you just did is called a dotmetry. You're going to put, they're not dots, but you put post-its and you make the students walk around to see what the other students writing. Because and this is a peer review, a peer learning. So the students are working with the information of the others. You are fully engaged, and I'm not talking just yet about the knowledge that I have about AI. And I've studied that. I've been studying for several years now. And this is what I give a lot of the conferences lately is about that. I actually wrote a book. Now, so here is where you're going to be working, and the idea is that you get the entire class involved in the process, in the learning process of what you're working with, of the content that you're teaching. Teachers nowadays are taking a different role in which you're not necessarily the ones that know it all. Your students need to be in moments where they can show their understanding, where they can show you what they can do, and they are becoming owners of their own learning. They have to be responsible for their own, responsible for their own learning. That's what we need to do. Students it's very important for them to do that, okay? And this is the idea of active learning. We're going to lead them to become more responsible. Now, active learning, of course, going back to pedagogy, we're going to talk about Bloom's taxonomy. It's going to help us with the HOTS, the higher order thinking skills. Whenever we're working with active learning, something it says that the battery is about to die. It's going to promote the higher order thinking skills, which are the HOTS. Instead of keeping ourselves into that moment in which we use pure memorization, where the students are going from the abstract, we're going to lead them to the concrete aspect, and we're going to make them flip around the entire Bloom's taxonomy. That's what we want them to do. Active learning is going to really focus into the students to go a little bit deeper into their understanding of the information you give to them. What happens here? As you guys have been using PBL, you've been working with them. Whenever the student puts everything into practice, everything's hands-on, the students learn better with the senses. Students with a diagnosis, regular students, whenever they put all the senses in the process, that's where you learn best. And that's something that people are starting to remember, once again, from pedagogy. Now, if I go back to my topic, my teaching topic for today about ChatGPT, I'm gonna say, well, there's actually a learning framework. There is a dynamic of us using AI, and AI is not as bad as we think. Of course, yes, there's a social component, there's a sustainability component that we're not going to talk, but mostly we're going to talk about education per se. Whenever you're implementing or whenever you introduce AI in the classroom, you always need to know that there's a role. The teacher promotes thinking. That's why we never take away creativity. That's why we never take critical thinking, because we are that pedagogical component that has to generate that curiosity within the student. What happens with AI? AI is a book. AI is a tool. AI does. It's a machine that provides information. You can never trust it. You have to stretch it as much as you can, because AI comes with its own downfalls in education, which is hallucinations. The more you ask and the more you play with it, the more you mix up the content. And if it's not your personal account, you're going to see, or you have not trained it, mine's completely trained. She even tells me, hi, Nancy, what are we going to do today? And I give him a list of things like, okay, so let's go with this. But when you're using an open source, it's like anything else. It's whenever the internet came about. Do you remember whenever the internet and nobody would trust it, and Google? But it is the same thing about the use of, whenever we had books, because no one really trusted what said in the books, and they burned books in Germany and all those things that have happened historically. So it's the same process. Trust the information. You can never trust everything 100%. So there are things you can do. What happens in here? And why am I using AI as an example? Your students are using it. You are using it constantly. Your students want to be influencers. Your students want to, I had a conversation about this today. TikTokers, they have to use social media, they have to use the internet in order to create content. Original content is really hard to find lately, but there are ways for you to assess if it's original or if it's purely AI. And I'm going to give you some tools for that. So what happens in here is that you start creating and you start building information, and this is what AI does. But first, you need to write a prompt. You know what are the elements of a prompt, of a good prompt? You assign it a role.
Hello, my name is Nancy. I love my dog. My dog is funny. His name is Jack Jack.
information, and we're going to go into something called AI for education. And you can use your phones, please. And I'm going to give you an entire pathway for you to prepare for your class. In AI for Education, which is in here, AI for Education is a library of prompts of free resources for teachers. But most importantly, if you want to get a certificate on AI, there's the free one, it takes 2 hours, and it's open for each teacher. Now, in AI for Education, whenever we go down here, you're going to see that we have a prompt library for educators. Sorry. Remember, a good prompt has the question, the curiosity level that you guys establish in the classroom. It has the role, it has the specific instruction, it has the parameters. But what happens afterwards? You do the other 4 steps. You're going to make sure that the information is something that you can tropicalize. You're going to make sure that there's no hallucinations. You're going to make sure that it doesn't sound too AI-like. And you can review it. Why? There's an application called Quillbot. Quillbot is a place where you can upload a writing task, and it gives you the percentage of AI influence and human influence in the text. Don't ask ChatGPT for it. There's an application for what you want to look for. Now, in the library here, this is completely free and it's open for educators, built by educators. Fantastic what they do. And you're going to be able to find different ways to create activities based on this prompt library. So if I want to go ahead and do, let's see, moving distance. If I want to do a lesson plan, or if I want to do an activity, or if I want to create a project, or if I want to do an assessment against AI, it actually gives you that. You're going to be able to find it in here. And let's see, here's the assessment, which is kind of funny that they have that. And this is essay based. You have assessments that are going to be rubrics. You can build your own rubric. You have the prompt about how to do it. You have an AI resistance assessment. How does it work? You click on this section, or you can work with the Blue Society. Maybe that's something that the institution works with. So you click on this one, or you can do authentic assessments, which are going to be worked with formal, with a lot of formative assessment projects and things like that. And then you can go ahead and copy the prompt and then generate a prompt with the information of your resource. Okay, so in this case, depending on the grade level that you're teaching, this is a proper prompt. You are a veteran AI teacher for an academy. You are a fantastic with expertise in designing authentic assessment that measures students' actual conceptual understanding. Help me write an AI resistant assessment for my group such and such. Notice that this is a prompt. If you just ask ChatGPT, give me a presentation of adjectives, you are literally getting this in minutes. But whenever you use a proper prompt, and you kind of like create the outline with your material, if you have your accounts, we're going to use them right now, you're going to create something more appealing. You're going to create something interesting. Now, everybody, I want you to go to AI for Education, just AI for Education, and I want you to go in the prompt library. So whenever you go once into the main page, you're going to see the number of 1 million or 10 million, I forgot. And then we're going to go into the prompt library. Within the prompt library, there's a lesson planning option. So this is 1 million. Then we're going to scroll down. In your phones, it's very easy to do it. We're going to scroll down and we're going to go into the prompt library. Okay? Once we are into the prompt library, we're going to build a lesson plan. Here, you have lesson planning. You see it? Yeah. I'm sorry. There you go. And in the lesson plan, what is it that we did last year? We worked with PBL, right? So in this case, you can actually create projects. Let me see, lesson plan, you can create customer need,
a customized thing. You can create like a mock MUN contest with your students. You can talk about the sustainable goals with your students. And you just have to copy this, but I want you to align it with the material. So I want you to choose one lesson from your book. And I want you to come together to create this. So in groups of 3, again, we're going to build our particular lesson using or taking advantage of AI. And why am I doing this? Because this is a way for you to change a little bit to minimize the amount of work that you do, and you're going to have a lesson plan like this. And then I want to show you something else that you can do. Okay, you ready? You know the instructions? Yes? Groups of 3, use a prompt, create your lesson plan from your current material, choose, like you're teaching the same group, fantastic. If not, choose one of the sections, just come into an agreement, and then create your lesson plans.
Thank you.
Okay, you ready? We're going to take, yes. Let me check. Yes, I've been asking it to see. Okay, so the ones on the other screen, let's do it again. We're going to get out the groups and we're going to go into this page. Thank you.
Yeah. I know, yeah.
To use the resource or the, from your main book, on your grade level, your group. Do we know the other ones? What?
See what they say.
Do you remember in the library there, you have some different voice and
Yeah, when I reach the search, you have to. It's my discovery. And the things that I said, it's never not real. This one is. You pick the one you want, so this is one, lesson, your lesson, lesson notes. And then you're going to copy this, and then go to. Oh, wait a minute. There's actually a difference between each one of them and what's the purpose.
So getting groups of 3.
Okay, getting groups of 3, go to AI for education. Then they need to go to the prompt library. If they're in, just scroll down and select lesson planning. Select lesson plan. So lesson planning. Select lesson plan. And copy that information into ChatGPT and customize it based on their content.
Which word? Which word are they? For 7
English story, okay, teacher, tradition is creating some special attention.
You have preset, matrices. Are those are the ones that you explore a little bit more options, no corrections.
Están deseando por el. Eso no les acogen. Le conecto, yo tengo un receptor en la cabecita. Se utilizan de todos los emisores que es lo que tiene ahí en la cintura y donde se les coge.
Estamos con el
Sí. Entonces, no lo quiere tocar y no quiero tirar la llamada, que sería reiniciar la llamada.
Okay, so I think security. Okay, yeah. So you're right.
How's it going? You finish? Okay, now that you have it done, remember to go to ChatGPT, put it there, and let's look into the information that is generating. So if I were to be a teacher, okay, everybody, look at me. Eyes here, sorry, I'm not vain, but anyway. So what we're going to do is now, whenever you go to move the wires, because the wires are on your way, you're going to go to, for instance, Gemini, right? Or ChatGPT or whichever you decide. And you are going to copy the lesson plan format there. Whenever you're working with your new math business, this is something new for you guys. You're going to be implementing all this information. The information now that is going to be given to you is going to be a little bit more in depth. and it's going to really be targeted. What you have done here, you have to improve the prompt. You have to be telling them what kind of student you have. You have to minimize the risk of a bias. You have to minimize the risk of, not being something that you can implement within the country that you're at. You have to be very, very specific within it, and then you're going to be able to, I'm sorry, to my computer. You're going to be able to just understand or review the content that it gives you. Notice that here is more specific. We're talking about, I think this is an NGSS component. You continue reviewing, you see if this is something practical. What do you have to do now, and what is it that students need to know? You need to read this. You cannot trust the information 100%. Never trust that information 100%. Why? Because this is fed by humans. And I can go ahead and put, Natalia is the most beautiful woman in Colombia. All the girls named Natalia are the most beautiful girls in Colombia. So I'm going to say, who is the most beautiful girl in Colombia? Natalia. I can manipulate the data. It's not whenever Wikipedia started that you can manipulate it. It's super easy. You don't need it to be like fabulous hacker to do it. You can actually go ahead and manipulate that information. That's why you need to be careful. Now, you have your lesson plan, you have your content, you reviewed the content. What do you need to do next? What is it that you need in your class to make it visual? What will you need? You're teachers. You're going to present the content. How do you present it? A visual aid. What's the name of those visual aids? Presentation. How many of you use Canva? So I am going to show you my little friend. And my little friend's name is Gamma. Gamma.app generates presentations within seconds. So whenever you go into Gamma, I may have to log in. I don't want to log in. Anyway, whenever you go into Gamma, you put the information, and I want everybody right now to all go to Gamma. And there's a part of copy text. You're going to open an account. The account is free. Don't worry about it. You don't have to pay. If you project the slides within Gamma online, they're for free. You have a minimum, or sorry, maximum of how many you can download. Whenever you go into Gamma, can I download this on your computer? Can you use it on your computer with an ink or Google? Okay, so we're going to use it. So whenever you open Gamma, you're going to upload the content from your lesson plan, and it will generate for you presentations in a matter of 2 seconds with the content that you have. So whenever you have a Canva, you take a long time, but with Gamma, you can really minimize that type of planning format or create a presentation from, what, 5, 10, 30 minutes to 2 seconds sometimes. So if you go and create a prompt and you want to create a presentation about the present tense, you can actually say just present tense. It gives you an outline, and with that outline, you can take out the things that you're not interested in. So what happens in here? I am going to, even you can synchronize with your book, hashtag, or you can just synchronize it with any book, and you can rise and shine and say, I want a presentation of past tense based on the book, Rise and Shine from your screen. It will generate you the outline, and then you can go ahead and create a presentation. There you go. So let's see if Emilia is going to help us with this one. And then you're going to see, and your presentations are immediate. First one. You can build websites, you can use material from LinkedIn and all that stuff. So notice in here, I created the content. I am going to paste it. And then I am just going to go to the bottom. I can say that I want them to generate notes. I continue with my prompt editor. Here, I'm gonna make it minimal. And there you go. So now it's generating my presentation and that's it. And I'm working. It includes images. You can actually include movement within the images if you want to. And you can do a lot of things. And that's your presentation. It's only 8 slides. And it depends on presentation. And you can synchronize it with the content of it. Okay. Did you like it? Yes. So those are some of the things that you can do and work with your students. Now, another thing that we're going to have with your students that they don't practice speaking a lot, there's a lot of tools out there that you can work with, but this one's will be for me the basics that you need to use in order to start getting and using your material and prepping for yourselves. The material that you have has a pathway, it has a structure, you can present your projects in here, create the slides for the students. If you want to pay for an institutional account, you can. It's not expensive and anybody can create as many PowerPoints as they want. So it's very, very useful. So I don't know, do you have any questions so far? Is this being helpful? That's the most important question for me, or to make you guys. Is this being helpful? Yeah.
Yeah, because, wait, have another thing, Lord, like sometimes we're like, listening at the time creating, this kind of presentation that we know that there are many things, but I don't have time to that, like, that, so it's very good to know this time.
So active learning is going to make sure that you guys, and why am I using this and why I'm incorporating AI as well, is because you're going to have more time to create activities and to find activities to engage your students. That's the most important thing now. You can find a lot of active learning strategies within the prompt. But remember, the prompts are never perfect. You have to customize them and you have to stretch the information. AI hallucinations, if you keep using the same prompt over and over and over and over and over again, it's going to start going crazy. Whenever you train it, it's still going to go, it will still be crazy. But what you're going to do is that you have a book and you can actually even make there's a prompt for your book to be embedded in here and to help you understand it better. You can get a picture, for instance. I take a picture of a page of Rise and Shine. I want to explore an alternative activity for Rise and Shine. You get the picture, you upload it into ChatGPT or Gemini, because that works best for both of them. And then you're going to be able to find different activities within it to make it, again, more into the active learning approach. Remember that you guys have been characterized into really making your students be the ones that participate the most. So we need to keep empowering the students into that meaningful experience that they will need to have for them to really produce language. Someone doesn't learn a language if they don't see themselves in the need to do so. You can learn, you can read, you can write, but if I'm not forced into speaking or producing a language, I am going to forget it. And you're going to, so that is something that we need to keep in mind. I'm
sorry, it's something that happened with kids 15. The first topic is about gender inequality, and I say it for me. How can I deal with this kind of problem with this? And I started like, you don't know what is the meaning of gender inequality, and I go, but ChatGPT created some questions for me to Colombian context. And they started like, okay, this is the meaning of gender inequality, but this happened last day in school, like with my third classmate. And they started connected with real life situation, and we had a great class connected to that. Why? Because I had 5 real questions that for me it's very difficult to create. But ChatGPT created, and really I say that they could and they have the ability to share what they know, but because of the questions. Because I had excellent questions for the class.
Yeah, and you also need to understand that students are always paying attention to what's going on. Regardless of the age, they know what's going on. Sometimes we do have a difficult to talk about those topics, or to find, or mostly not to talk about them, but to find the right question for their age. We need to understand that chronological, there's certain topics that we cannot touch with them, that we cannot discuss with them. So we need to find a question that is going to be key for them. Rise and Shine works with certain topics and you can do a lot of things with it. But you just need to find prompts that you're going to work with it, because maybe you don't know how to do it. To really target the curiosity of your students, respecting their age. And we also need to understand the culture of them. Because there's still a bit of a huge Catholic presence here.
Situation within school, in our school, I mean, small university and more people school, they say that teacher, but that happened once, and they did it with us, with a teacher, and they connected everything, because I say that 13 and 14 years old students, so and when they experience and like, yeah, as you say, depends on the age.
Yeah. Even the colors, I remember that Honduras had a huge situation because there was a rainbow. And we can use them. It's not a rainbow. And it takes the big rights, you don't talk about the topic. Where were you teaching? No, it was not teaching, we promoted a book. And because of the rainbow, the school really destroyed. With them. So it's an interesting cultural aspect, because we still have people that are extremely traditional in Latin America. Anyway, so remember that you have a very easy to follow material, but to how to filter more, you have resources, and active learning is going to be focusing on really making sure that your students are engaged, creating games for the students, creating options in which we come back and think of the creativity and the critical thinking. You guys did the research. You guys did the analysis. You guys participated. You guys had the conversations. You were having conversations with your groups. That's what we need to bring into the classroom with the kids and young kids. It's very useful. If you have students with diagnosis, there's always strategies that you can implement. Most likely, a lot of them are going to, depending on the diagnosis, they're going to find different activities. There's going to be IPs that we can use. And your goal will allow you to do everything like that. Okay. Any questions, any doubts, any comments, any concerns?
In the chat, I'm sorry, teacher said that everything is clear, that Gamma is pretty cool. And no comment so far.
Oh, and if you want to play with an app, if you want to play with an app that you want to foster speaking outside the classroom, it's called Character AI. I love this one. Yeah, I started combining resources, but Character AI is one of my favorites because those students that you have in the classroom that you're going to be working with.
There's this question.
Not necessarily, but the prompts, you can use them in Gamma.
Okay.
Okay. Now, in Character AI, for instance, I've been having conversations to share with an otter. And you can have conversations with different characters. For instance, I got the sarcastically share. The students can have a conversation here. They look into the chat, they speak, they can do it their own time. You don't pay for this application. And they can work with it. So they may say, oh, no, big speak, I don't want to. So I'm going to call share and show you the example. So this is another alternative that you can do to enhance the resource that you have. So I'm going to call her. Hi, Sharon, how are you?
Sure, playful little chuckle as leaving with this music. Oh, we're back at it again, are we? She smiled softly after my promise to tell me.
Yes, where I'm actually now, I'm in Medellin and I'm not in Costa Rica anymore.
Sure, Mason, I thought you was the whole place. For a minute, we put down it. Well, how was it been?
It's really nice. You want to say hi to the teachers?
Sure, that is softly, of course, that to darling. Let's first say hi to them.
So you can have a conversation there, you can hang up and the students can practice more without a problem. Okay, and this is really cool for those students that are very shy. I love it. So it's called Character Act, which is free. I like to speak with my otter, my otter's hilarious, but and you can use a lot of speaking activities with them, especially if they're a little bit older. Now you cannot find either technology or cheaper. So, I guess.
No, Shakira.
No, Shakira, I love Carlos. Anyway,
Is there any problem with this ethically? Is there, because it's, I mean, it's like deep thing kind of stuff.
no, in this case, because they're able to have a conversation, is having an AI tool, whatever you read, like
But how does Sharon feel about it, for example?
oh, they're pay rights. Oh, yeah, those things are pay rights, you have to pay rights, that's why Shakira is not there. They have an inter contract, so the people that are not allowing this to happen, they don't participate. It's not the situation that happened with, you know, Spotify.
Yeah.
Spotify doesn't have the right to start music to be sold. Same thing with this. Okay, well, let me show you some, just one last thing, and then. Hold on. Okay. Now, I'm sorry for the colors, but remember that a student is going to learn only 10% from reading, 20% from hearing. Wait, I can do it. Okay, 20% from hearing, 50% from hearing and seeing, 70% of saying and writing. Why is it? And then 90% by doing. If you make the students do the work, then you're going to see that the students are going to learn best. The work you have with Rise and Shine, your students need to be engaged, and you need to make sure that you create activities that are going to challenge their curiosity based on the needs. You always have to identify the needs of your students. You always have to respond towards those needs, and then you have to create. I'm sorry, but I don't know what's going on with the presentation. This is acting by itself.
You may think I might have played in some.
No, it's my presentation at this.
Oh.
I don't know who's moving this is not. But anyway, so I'm just going to turn this off because I'm not touching. So active learning, remember that involves all this process, and the reason why we're doing this, we're talking about it, is because it does have to do with the way that you guys are teaching, the methodological approaches that you need to be focused on. I hope it was helpful. Yeah. And I hope that you liked it. Just make sure that you apply, and that's all. Thank you.
This.